Hello, all my friends, hello. Hello, all my friends, hello. I'm feeling real silly, so let's start the show. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Hey, everybody, welcome to Tazzy Read Stuff, where me, Tazzy, read stuff. All kinds of stuff. I read all kinds of stuff. Everything. Mostly stories.
Do you read that stuff?
I did read that stuff.
Do you read that stuff?
I do read the stuff that's off camera.
Do you read that stuff?
Miss Christie's here, everybody.
Do it again.
Blech. That's gross for both of us, really. Justin says, hi, Miss Christie.
Hello.
This is awesome. I haven't been here for a couple of days, so thank you for being patiently waiting. I wasn't here yesterday because I didn't feel I could do the show, to be honest with you. I lost a friend. Friend of mine passed away suddenly, and I was very, very sad. And I couldn't really talk without having tears, and I couldn't talk without having I had a sad heart. So his name was Andrew Albert, and he was a comedian friend of mine, and just an awesomely great guy. And he passed away suddenly on the weekend, and it was a shock to everybody. So I'm going to miss Albert very, very much. Andrew, sorry very, very much. And yeah, it's just yeah. So let's some days it's just better to take a day for yourself. I think that's what you need to do sometimes. Let's see how many days it is. Suri, how many days ago was March 18th, 2020?
It was 510 days ago.
510 days ago? Oh my goodness. We haven't read a book for 9 days? That can't be right. It can't be that.
It says 507 there.
Oh, 507. I thought that was 501. 3 days. Still 3 days, isn't it? Albert is here. Hey, Albert. That means Yasminka's here. Hello, Yasminka. And Albert and Barb, probably.
I think you should ask Siri for an extra silly joke tonight.
Siri, do you have an extra silly joke?
This one's for the kids. What do you get when you cross a centipede with a parrot? A walkie-talkie.
We had this one before.
Maybe we're at the end of her
Siri,
jokes.
can we have another joke, please?
My thesaurus isn't just terrible. It's also terrible.
I don't get that joke. It's just terrible. It's also terrible. Oh, is it terrible? No, they're both spelled wrong. Okay, Siri, can we have a funny joke?
What do you call a nose with no body? Nobody knows.
That's a you joke right there.
Nobody knows. There you go, everybody. That was terrible. That joke was terrible. What do you call it? Thesaurus. It's also a thesaurus. I don't even know what kind of... Why would she make fun of a dinosaur like that? That's not very nice to call a dinosaur terrible. Seriously. You think it's okay to call a dinosaur terrible? What if the dinosaur's got feelings, probably?
It might.
Yeah.
I don't think they were talking about a dinosaur, though.
A thesaurus.
That's
It's a dinothaurus.
That's not a
A
dinosaur.
dinothosaurus.
That's not a dinosaur.
My joke is better than Suri's. Oh my goodness.
It was. I will give you that.
Jen Gregg. Suri is not funny. Jen Gregg is here with the kids. How are you, Jen? Good to see you. It's been quite a while since I've seen you last. Yasminka, how are you? I guess I won't be able to hear her.
Listening for her?
Beckett and Lincoln from Yellowknife. Beckett and Lincoln are here. Beckett is 7 and Lincoln is 5, or Lincoln is 7 and Beckett is 5. Am I correct?
One way or the other, I think you are.
I think I am. From Yellowknife. Yellowknife, that's awesome. We only have silver knives. I want a Yellowknife. I've been to Yellowknife many times.
I've been to Yellowknife too.
Yeah, but this is my show, so we're talking about... No, I'm just kidding. Where did you go in Yellowknife?
Well, I went to Yellowknife.
Okay.
I went to the bar.
I'd hate to get eaten by a Thesaurus Rex. It would be gruesome and horrible and horrendous and terrible. That's a good one, too. Yes, says hello back. Suri has a rival when it comes to bad jokes. Her name is Alexa. That is 100%. That's Pat. Pat's my friend from the United States. Hello, Pat. How are you? In the Brainerd area. Let's read a couple of. Let's read this one. Dr. Seuss. That's why I got the hat. The Bipolo Seed and Other Lost Stories. My buddy Justin got me this bookmark, so I can bookmark the bookmark. Okay, here we go. I think I need my glasses today. Mora, Montana, Minnesota. Mora, Minnesota. Well, it's better than less of Minnesota, that's for sure. Nothing? Okay, well, I'll just be over here. This is called Gustav the Goldfish. The man who stole Gustav the Goldfish to us had warned, take care, you better feed this little cuss. Feed him a spot if you feed him a lot. Just feed him a spot. If you feed him a lot, then something might happen. It's hard to say what. And that's what the man said, so I tried to take care, just to feed Gus a pinch. But it never seemed fair, 'cause he always looked sad when he gulped down the stuff, and his eyes seemed to tell me, this isn't enough. Then he'll always blow bubbles as much as to say, come on, don't be stingy, I'm hungry today. Gus had to have food, not a spot, but a lot. No matter what happened, I didn't care what. So finally one day, poor Gus looked so thin, I took the whole box and dumped it all in. But the second I did it, I saw I had done wrong. That fish food, I guess, was terribly strong. The second Gus ate it, he grew twice as long, and he grew twice as wide, too big for his fishbowl. His tail was outside.
Uh-oh.
He was burst in the glass. He was as big as a trout. I grabbed for the rose bowl. I yanked the rose out. My mother's best bowl, but I spilled Gustav in it. But what was the use? 'Cause the very next minute, Gustav was as big as a shad. And he looked through the glass. He looked mighty mad. He splashed and he thrashed and he burped and he blew. As much as you tell me, I blame this on you. And this is your fault because you fed me a lot. Get me out of here quick. Get me out of this spot. To the back of the house, to the kitchen I ran. I needed more water, so I filled up a pan. I poured Gustav in as fast as I could, but he kept right on growing. It did him no good. I poured him forth from a pot to pot and into a pot after pot. But faster I poured him, the bigger he got. I ran out of pots. Poor Gustav still grew. Oh, it's awful what one box of fish food will do. Water, more water, he'll die in the air. I raced up the kitchen and up the hallway stair, upstairs to the bathroom. Oh, what a climb, because the fish in my arms were grew all the time. Each step he kept groaning and rolling his eyes. I got to the top. He was halibut size. It was almost too big for a fellow to lug, but I got to the bathtub and put in the plug. I turned the cold water faucet on full blast. Gustav, I panted. You're safe here now at last. Good stuff, I panted. This tub ought to do. It holds my whole family, so it ought to hold you.
Who tests out the whole family in the bathtub?
Yeah.
Kind of scenario.
It's a spot. But it didn't hold Gustav. He kept right on growing, and as soon as the whole bathtub was full, overflowing, my parents, I knew, would be very upset because the water was making the bathroom quite wet. It was up past my ankles, my knees, past my waist. I saw my father's shaving brush, toothbrush, and paste bobbing around in the ocean, but what could I do? Because Gustav, my goldfish, still grew, and he grew. He was big as a dolphin, a porpoise, a seal. Oh, why did I feed Gustav such a big meal? Just because I was careless and I fed him a lot. I would drown in my bathroom as likely as not. Then bang, with a crash and a terrible roar, and a splintering smash, we burst through the door. Gustav and I shot down into the halls, back down the stairs like Niagara Falls.
That's a lot of water going on.
You know what happens when, you know what you say at Niagara Falls? Are you okay? Just to make sure, because sometimes the fall can hurt. Then the first thing I knew, we were down in the cellar. Gustav, my fish, was a gigantic feller. Too wild and too dangerous to handle alone. I needed some help, so I rushed to the phone, and I quickly dialed the number of Mr. Van Bus, the man who sold Gustav, the goldfish, to us. Come over here, mister. He's big as a whale. He's banging the furnace to bits with his tail. That's a big fish.
That is a big fish. He looks happy, though.
He does look happy. I knew, sighed the man, this would happen one day. And he hung up the phone, and he came right away, with a lot of strange bottles tucked into his vest. The thing on his back was like a medicine chest. And he took it down to the cellar and worked underwater on Gustav for more than an hour and quarter. What he did, I don't know, but he must have been wise, because he shrank Gustav back to his regular size. Then he said, as he handed my fish back to me, it's mighty hard work, boy, but this time it's free. If this happens again, I'll charge a big fee, so next time take care. And he stalked through the door. Since then, I fed Gustav so much and no more. Since then, I've not fed him more than a spot, 'cause something might happen. I now know just what. The lesson for that is to always follow the directions.
I'm pretty sure there was another book about a rapidly growing fish in the Dr. Seuss kind of library. I don't think it was written by Dr. Seuss, but I think it was part of the
early learning. The early learning. Well, he might have written it under not Dr. Seuss's name, because he was also Theo Zig, and he was Rosetta Stone, and he was a few other ones.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fishy story, Miss Christie.
I just remember, I don't remember the imagery or the cadence of this particular story, but I do remember imagery of a fish growing and ending up swimming pool sized in that other book.
Oh, well, see, what happens is some of these stories they actually might have taken and made 2 other books as well with different words.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe
this was a concept.
A concept. That's a type of fish. Tad and Todd. This one's called Tad and Todd. One twin was named Tad, and one twin was named Todd, and they were alike, very much alike, like 2 peas in a pod. They were so much alike from their hair to their feet that people would stare when they walked down the street, and no one, not even their own mother, knew which one was one and who was who. Now, Todd on the right was the happier one. He thought being twins was a whole lot of fun. He liked it 'cause no one could tell him from Tad. But Tad, on the left, well, it made him quite sad. So Tad, on the left side, one day said to Todd, I don't want to be like 2 peas in a pod. I'm going to look different, I tell you, he said. And Tad got some ink, and he dyed his hair red. Now, people will know when they see me and you which one is one and which one is who. Oh, no, answered Todd, on the right, of course. If you please, I like the idea of 2 pods and 2 peas. And the Todd grabbed the bottle, and quick as a wink, he dyed his own hair with the very same ink. Oh, sighed poor Tad on the left. This is bad. I still look like Todd, who still looks like Tad. And he worried all day, and he fretted all night. How can I look different from Todd on the right? It's going to take brains, and it's going to take tricks, thought Tad the next morning as he got up at 6. I got to wear clothes of very strange kind, so he made a false tail, which he hitched on behind, and he left off one shoe, and he stuck a rose in his toe. Now when they see me, said Tad, they will know which one is which and who without fail, for I'll be the one with the rose in the tail, and to make double sure, I'll do one small thing. I'll catch a queer bird, and I'll keep it on a string. I'll take the string with me wherever I go, and the bird in my tail and my rose in my toe will show that I am Tad, and that Todd is not me, that I am just I, and I am not he.
It's a lot of work to try to be a little bit different from your twin. Look at it all. He's got the red hair, which, I mean, his brother went red too, but now he's got the bird on a leash. He's got a tail and a rose in it. I mean, ouch.
I know. How do you carry a rose in the door? I would have worn a name tag.
Yeah.
That's all I would have done. Thought Tad, that's not bad. That's not bad for a start, but I've got to make certain they'll tell us apart. So he took all his savings and went to the store and he bought a big statue of General Lee Miller, a once famous old buffalo killer. For his shoulder, and then for his back, he strapped on a dog in a brown burlap sack. They're heavy, thought Tad, and the bag sort of itches. These people will know which one of us which is. That's a hard one to say. It's a mighty good stuff, but is it enough? It may be enough, but I can't take the chance. The whole town must know that I'm Tad at first glance. So Tad made some stilts more than 7 feet high. And he bought an umbrella that he got from Shanghai, and he spent his last cent on a fat Turkish hat and 7 balloons. Now he said, that is that. And now I'll run home and I'll show my brother Todd we are not 2 peas in a silly old pod.
Definitely unique.
That's it.
Absolutely. Very distinct.
Do you know how to did you know how to catch a unique rabbit?
No.
You sneak up on him. Yeah, it's a unique rabbit. You sneak up on him, you're like, bing, bing, bing. Do you know how to catch a tame rabbit? The tame way. But when he got home, what a terrible sight. Tad on the left stared at Todd on the right, and he saw that his brother was dressed up quite neatly, exactly as he was, precisely and completely. You see, Tad, said Todd, it's high time that you knew that you look like me, and I look like you, and will never be different whatever you do. Then Tad sort of smiled and said, well, I guess that is true. And they say that today, when you see Tad and with Todd, they're both having fun being peas in that pod, and still no one knows when they meet with these two if this one is that one or that one is one, where this one is, I don't know, I'll try again. If this one is that one or that one is this one, or which one is what one or what one is who.
Okay, but what are the chances?
Twins will often think quite the same. Did you know that?
But this is
I've got twins, Denise and Denephew. No, it's not Denephew. Denise and Danielle. They looked so much alike that we couldn't tell them apart, and I still really can't tell them apart. And they had their own little language, and they did lots of things the same without even knowing it, but because they have little a fly. But they have, like, it's not like their brains are on the same thinking thing. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Don't judge me. Do we have time to read one more? Oh, we do have time to read one more. Shall we read one more? Vote. I vote yes, and I've got the book. And control of the camera. This one's called Steak for Supper. Miss Christie made farmer sausage and cabbage and onions for supper. So in a little bit, Miss Christie's going to be very angry that I ate as much cabbage as I did.
I think I ate more cabbage than you did, so.
She has Mink, I'm coming to stay at your house. The steak for supper. Oh, that's probably not far enough away. Yes, make us house. Pat, I'm coming to live with you in Mora. The more the better. When I'm all by myself and there isn't a crowd, I guess that sometimes I get thinking out loud. And I guess I was talking while steering my feet. Oh, I like that. On my way home from supper down Mulberry Street. And I must have been thinking about what I would eat, because I shouted out loud with all of my might that we should have steak every Saturday night. My father warned me, don't babble, don't bray, for you never can tell who might hear what you say. My father had warned me, boy, button your lip. And I guess I should have. I had made a bad slip. Because the minute I said we had steak for a meal, I noticed Ika behind my back heel. And that Ika was trailing me home for a bite of steak that we have every Saturday night.
You like steak for supper.
I do like steak for supper. We had it, Albert made us a steak last time we were over there. It's really lovely.
Steak is not my favorite.
No?
I haven't had steak probably since I was a kid. I don't really like it very much.
No, what's your favorite?
My favorite? Homemade cinnamon rolls.
That's not comparable to steak.
I don't really like meat very much.
Oh yeah, you're a vegetarian.
Not really.
You're not really a vegetable. You're not a vegetarian, but you would prefer vegetables over meat.
I do.
So you're an occasional vegetarian. That's science.
That's not really science.
It is science.
That wasn't even a word.
Listen, I'm a carnivarian, which means I like meat.
It's not.
And
no,
you're
that's
a vegetable.
not a word.
You're a vegetable Marilyn, right? Because you like vegetables more than meat. So you're not completely a vegetarian. You are an occasional vegetarian. You'll have chicken and fish and shrimp and things like that, right? So you're a humongous vegetarian. That's what that works, just like that.
That's not science.
You don't even have a steak in this meal. That's a gooder right there. Bacon. Oh yeah, she'll have bacon. I love bacon. I got sort of worried. Our steaks were quite small, and I had none to spare for the Ika at all. And then I got really worried, and the next thing I knew, the Ika was talking and babbling too. The Ika was waving his wing to a gritch. Come on, he was calling. They're terribly rich. They've got plenty of steak, and they'll cook it just right. Just because they always have steak every Saturday night. Then the Grinch started giving the come-along sign, inviting a Grickle to get in the line. Join up, called the Grinch, for I'm sure they'll be able to have one more place at their dining room table. An Ika, a Grinch, and a Grinkle to feed? My mother, I knew, would be angry indeed. And I groaned, and I knew that I hadn't been bright when I bragged that we had steak every Saturday night.
If he has to share it amongst all of those, people.
Carnivarians, Miss Christie.
He's not going to have a very big piece of steak that night, that's for sure. And
then the Grickle called out to a nupper, they always have steak for their Saturday supper. Good gracious, I grasped. How the news gets around, the steak is so expensive, $1 a pound. A nutter for supper, a Grinch and a Grickle, and an Ika. Oh boy, what a pickle. I like pickles. Pickles are good. I shivered. I wondered what my father would do when I walked in the house with this terrible crew. When my father saw them, there'd be a good chance that I'd likely get wild up the seat of my pants, and I guess if I did, I'd serve me quite right, 'cause I babbled that we had steak every Saturday night. The very next second I groaned, oh good grief. The nupper called out to a pair of wild weef. Come on, you wild weef. The party we'll make for Saturday supper, they always have steak. What a mess. 2 old wild weef and a nupper and an Ika, a Grinch and a Grickle. I never felt sicker. I knew that the minute I walked through the door, my mother would faint and my father would roar. And tomorrow they'd send me to one of those schools where they try to train boys how to not act like fools. I searched for the doorknob and trembled with fright, because I had said steak every Saturday night.
It's been a long time since steak was $1 a pound.
No kidding.
Gonna need quite a few pounds of steak for these.
I opened the door, then I stopped with a sniff. I smelled what was cooking. I took a big whiff. The Ika stopped also and sniffed with that smell. So did the weef and the nupper as well. The Grinch and the Grinkle, they stopped and sniffed too. And the moment we sniffed it, all of us knew the stuff that we sniffed wasn't steak. It was stew. The butch who sent it had made a mistake. For Saturday supper, we didn't have steak. A mistake. Did you hear what happened with the butcher? He wasn't paying attention, and he backed his bum into his meat slicer. Do you know what happened? He got a little behind in his work. That's a good right there. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Just stew, gulped the Grickle. Just stew who I say. If I only had one stew, I think I would stay. I don't think I will stay. Stew, they all snorted out loud in disgust. They disappeared, all of them, in a big cloud of dust. What luck! I'd be safe alone in the hall. My mother and dad hadn't seen them at all. And from that night to this, I never made slips. I don't talk when I walk, 'cause I've buttoned my lips.
Do you prefer steak or stew?
Steak.
You prefer steak?
Oh, steak for sure.
Because stew has all the fixings. It's like potatoes and carrots and gravy. It's all together.
Yeah. Albert says, you're a flexitarian.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. Do we have time for one more? I don't think we do. I think it's time to go. That's it. I think for tonight.
Jen says she's got 3 hands up for cinnamon buns over there.
Where is 3 hands up for cinnamon buns? Oh, yes. Okay, well, come on over, Jen.
Hands up,
baby, hands up. Cinnabon, Cinnabon, Cinnabon. Christy makes good Cinnabons. Beedle-doo-doo-doodle. Do you have time to make them tonight? You do. Jen, if you want to come over, you have to dress up like a Grickle in a weef. My weef over there is not going to be making any cinnamon buns. Being a vegetarian is a missed steak. Oh, that's a good one right there. That's a really good one. Well, everybody, thank you very much for tuning in to my silliness. I started the day sad with the loss of my friend, of course, and I can't stop thinking about how much fun we had. And I think one of the problems that affects me a lot is the fact that we won't be able to make any more memories together. So I have to concentrate on all the silliness that we had when we were on the road together and when we were telling, he was a comedian as well, and telling jokes and things like that. The last time we worked together, not the last time we talked, but the last time we worked together was for the Moncton Comedy Festival, and it was online. And Andrew had a script, and he had the script like this, and he was reading the script, my bio, telling people what I do. And he goes, you know what, I'm not going to read this. He said, I just want to let you know that Taz is one of the biggest zoom, and the whole internet shut down. It shut down for probably 10 minutes, hey, by the time they got everything. Not on the whole internet, but the show shut down. And it fried everything. And so when we got back, I said, if you reintroduce me, please don't say anything nice, because it shuts the internet down. I miss you, Andrew, and I love you very much. And it's hard, but it's also nice to be able to talk to you and tell you how I'm feeling and not be afraid to tell your feeling. Because you know what? It's important to be able to tell our feelings to the people around us. That's why we surround ourselves with forever people. People that are going to get us. People that are going to understand us. People that love us unconditionally and know how to listen. Because some people don't listen. They wait for their turn to talk, don't they? So... and it's all about being able to share your emotions. So if you're happy and you're sad, or you're mad or upset or confused or anxious or whatever it is, make sure that you talk to people about it, because it helps. It really does. That way you don't hold everything in, right? And it's okay to have a cry. It doesn't matter how old you are, or if you're a boy or a girl or another gender that you've chosen to be or that you are. It doesn't matter, right? It's just all about being a human being, and that's what it is. And remember, we always say it's okay to get mad, it's okay to be sad, and it's okay to be frustrated with the situation, but we have to ABK, which is always be kind, always be kind. I try to always be kind. And I say try to always be kind, because sometimes we're not kind, are we? Sometimes we're hurting inside, so we hurt others around us, either with our words or our actions, right? And if you do that, then what I need you to do is just stop and think, and apologize, of course, and then try harder next time. That's all, because you're not perfect. What do we say? In all that you say and all that you do, you never have to be perfect. You've just got to be you. So you go be you, and I will be me. And I'm going to get on a little meeting here in a little bit with some people, and we're going to sit around and talk about how much we miss Andrew and all the silly stories. And so we're going to do that in a little bit. So I'm going to go do that. So lots of love from Miss Christie and I. I'm going to sing my song, and I'll probably say lots of love again because I have lots of love for you, and I sometimes forget that I've already said it. Good night, all my friends, good night. Good night, all my friends, good night. May your dreams be cheery and your dreams be bright. Good night, all my friends, good night. Sleep tight, all my friends, sleep tight. Sleep tight, all my friends, sleep tight. May your dreams be so silly till the morning light. Good night, all my friends, good night. Have yourself a really great day. Jen and the kids, thank you very much for tuning in, and I will talk to you very soon. Yes, make a time to brush your teeth. Justin, thank you very much for your video yesterday, telling me that you love me and that you're hoping that I was feeling better, and I did feel better. And Beckett and Lincoln and my buddy Pat and everybody else, and Annette as well. Have yourself a really good night. Once again, lots of love from Miss Christie and I, and I'm going to go talk about puppies.
No puppies.
I did not say I was going to get a puppy. I said I'm going to talk about a puppy and plan on getting a puppy and then sneaking it in and then hiding it from you and then renaming it and dressing it up as a pillow. And then the one thing I'm going to practice, the most important thing I'm going to practice, is not to say everything out loud. Nope. Okay, I deserve that.